right, I'm hanging out with Cowboy Bob Orton. You're going into the St. Louis Hall of Fame, sir. How do you feel about that?
Oh, man, it's great. It's great. I can't wait. Some of them guys that are on there were my idols when I was a child, and to be a part of that group it's special.
It's very special, man. Your whole family's going to be here to induct you. How does that make you feel?
Great.
Of course it's great. Everybody's going to be here.
Yeah.
That's awesome, awesome. Congratulations, sir, and thank you for taking a moment of your time to hang out with me, Papa Dank, from New York's, well, Long Island, New York, really.
All right. Well, my pleasure. Hey, everybody in New York.
Thank you. Whoa, Abby, whoa. Well, I'll just take the screen and put the pliers away, please. She's out of her mind. Yikes.
Saw what I did to Crowbar. I want them all. It don't just stop at Ray Jazz. I want all these guys. I said this on your show before. I want Nick Gage. I want Shlak. I want Abdullah Kobayashi. I want the most violent guys. Bring me any of these guys. Matter of fact, I invite anybody. You know my title is the Invitational. So I invite all of you fucking bozos.
All right, thank you, Face, for joining me, and hope everybody is there. June 1st, make sure you get your tickets. Wrestling is now. Don't miss that event. It's going to be fantastic.
And if you got a mother, a cougar in your life, a grandmother, great-grandmother, shit, anybody over the age of 18 that's a female, bring them to me, and if they're just lucky, I might take them backstage with me.
This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
All right, go ahead.
In a protector, by the way.
Yeah.
So you really were thinking.
I know you got to go, but how do you feel being here real quick?
I am so excited to be here.
What about, Michael Myers?
We could add 2 more dents to this chick.
Follow her. Where can you follow you at?
You can follow me on Instagram
So I'm out of this bitch. Got a big match tonight at Victory Pro Wrestling, right, Britt?
Yes. Hola. First of all, I have to say it in front of me.
I wish I could, what's it, Ving?
Papa Dank, do you edit these videos?
Steven is there.
You don't want to miss this one. No.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Berricade. I'm your host, Papa Dank. And tonight I have a very special guest. If you can see from the little TikTok that we just played. Let me bring to you the one, the only Rika Wildlee. Oh, wow.
Thank you, sir, for having me on Beyond the Berricade.
It's happening over there, Rika. Wow. How are you tonight?
I'm doing amazing, looking forward to so many more amazing adventures, getting bizarre each place I step. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm here in Long Island, New York. Where are you from, sir?
Well, technically I'm from your town, but if you've asked where I've been born and raised, it would be Louisiana.
Okay. Yes, Serena, we do have a special guest tonight. All right. So, Rika, how did you fall in love with this wonderful world that we call professional wrestling?
Well, as I've said on many podcasts before, I have been a wrestling fan, and that is what I am at my heart and soul since I was 8 years old. I never, ever saw myself doing anything else but entertaining inside the professional wrestling world. So as other kids were growing up and saying they wanted to be firemen and policemen and so on and so forth, I was out planning my adventures as a professional wrestler, one match at a time that never happened until way, way later in life.
All right. Now, once you decided to become a wrestler, where did you go train, and who were your trainers?
Well, I was trained in the UWE Pro Wrestling Academy of Louisiana, that is United Wrestling Entertainment Pro Wrestling Academy, and I was trained under the Mid South and global legend Dapper Dan, who was trained under the late great Ivan Putski.
Okay.
So that's where I initially got my training.
All right. All right. Now, tell me about the first time Rika came into this world of professional wrestling, had his first match. Who was your opponent, and how did the opponent kind of relate to you in how you are now?
Well, my very first match was in Alexandria, Louisiana. I was in a tag team match, actually, was my very first professional match, and I was tagged with Cody Hawkins. And our opponents was Xavier Storms and Punk Sinister. Two great legends now, or I call them that because they have traveled so much. But the fact is they're called Dread Express. They're a tag team that runs the southern states now. I'm pretty sure they've gained tag team gold throughout the southern states, and those were my first opponents. Also, some of the students from the UWE Academy that you know, was in the same class as me and one after me, but we all kind of started together as a group. So it was just an amazing thing to go against them in my first debut match.
All right. Now, where did you get the inspiration for the design of your gear?
Well, I've always been into the clown thing. You know, I've always been kind of fascinated with the weird and bizarre and the macrambe, you know, per se. But the fact is I didn't see anyone else doing it. I saw a bunch of clowns out there. Don't get me wrong. I've done my research. I've looked all through the indie world, and I've looked all through the pro wrestling world, as you see on TV. And the thing is, I didn't see anyone doing the overly bright gimmick. I seen the people with the tie dye. I seen the people that were dark, like the Undertaker-esque characters, you know, insane demons and all this kind of stuff. But then again, I never saw anyone that was just over the top, look at me bright. And I've always been just captivated by understanding the world that I love, which is professional wrestling, and knowing that it started way back as we know it now. The entertainment value, the predetermined outcomes, the characters all started at the carnival way back when as a sideshow attraction. So what better way to pay homage to the business I love than becoming the barker of the bazaar? He's a carnival barker. Come one, come all, step right up. That's the whole build of the gimmick. And that's what I work toward. So there you go.
All right. Now, I must say that just being here with me, you're definitely standing out. So, good job on that, sir.
Thank you. I've made all my own gear other than my mask. And it's definitely something that stands out in a locker room. I mean, you can't help but look at it. And the fact is I've always been a look at me type guy. So when I walk out, I could have a 5-star match or I could have a complete garbage match. And no matter what happens during the show, the fact is on the ride home, you're still going to be talking about that guy with the lights.
That is true. Serena says you're definitely achieving that. You're definitely standing out. And she's got a question for you. If you get advice to someone just starting out in this business, what would you say?
If I could give advice to someone just starting out in this business, simple. It's really simple. Mouth closed, ears open. Anyone who has more experience than you, it doesn't matter if it's 6 months, 6 years, or 60 years. The fact of the matter is you learn from everyone in the professional wrestling business that you come across. Picking the brain of someone with a little more experience than you is the best teaching tool that a up-and-coming wrestler should hold. because there's 1,000 different ways to do 1,000 different things, and there's 1,000 different ways to do the same thing in professional wrestling. So if you pick the brain of everyone that you come across, every locker room that you step into, every school that you enter, every person that has more experience than you come across, pick their brain, ask them questions. Don't be scared to ask questions. Now, know when to speak and know when to listen, of course. Don't come in thinking that you've watched TV and now you know wrestling, because I promise I thought I knew what the wrestling business was about until I stepped into school and got shown exactly how deep the wrestling world is outside of what you see on TV. But
I must agree.
as an up and comer, that's the bottom line, is just listen, learn as much as you can, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
All right. With that being said, is there any opponent you want to have a match with that you haven't had a match with in your career thus far?
Well, I would love to have a match against Sam Stackhouse. That is one of my dream opponents, just because I've watched him for a while now, and I just love his work. Up until this podcast here, I would say Draven Lee would be one of my wishful opponents, but I'm going against him next weekend in Marietta, Georgia. So,
All right,
not this
now
upcoming weekend, but the 8th. I'm going against him in Marietta, Georgia.
All right, I'm gonna throw a name out there. I don't know if you've had a match already, or you know who this person is, but Jackson Crowley.
I've heard the name, and I'm pretty sure I've seen him on Facebook. I have not done much research on him, but anyone with a bizarre gimmick I'm ready and willing to step in the ring with may learn a thing or two.
I think
All
that
for
would be
that.
great for you. Just my thoughts over here. All right, now the toughest match you've had to date. Who was your opponent that you were wrestling, and why was it so difficult for you to get through that match?
Toughest match I've had to date. It was actually early on in my career so far, and I would have to say it was probably against Gatekeeper. He is a local wrestler here in Central Louisiana, travels around Texas a lot. We had a Singapore cane match in
Wow.
Yeah, I cannot remember which town it was. It wasn't Center, Texas. Marshall, Texas. That's it. We had a Singapore cane match in Marshall, Texas, and that was my first official weapons match. And when I say I got lit up, no pun intended, I got lit up.
Right. All right.
But
now
yeah.
tell me. Go ahead. Is that
No.
All
Go
right. Now tell me a match you want to have that you haven't had yet. What type of match is this?
Well, I would love to have a steel cage match, just because I know there's so much that can be done inside of that. I mean, I would love to say ladder match, but if I had to choose one to do first, it would definitely be a steel cage match. Yes, just because I've always been a fan, and I've watched a lot of steel cage matches, and I know there's so much room for ways to be innovative. You know what I mean? Ways to do certain things that's been done, but in a way that complements your style and your character inside of a cage. I mean, there's a lot of room for error as well. Don't get me wrong, but yes.
Okay. All right. That's a good one. I like that steel cage match. Here we go. I'm gonna throw a name out there. Not you sure if you face him or not, but I gotta say Ray Ivy.
Yes. I went against Ray Ivy at TNR Championship Wrestling in Leachville, Arkansas. The authentic Ray Ivy.
The authentic Ray Ivy, that's right.
Yes. I won that match, but when I say I got pushed to my limits due to his little side manager pipsqueak guy, it was one that pulling out all the stops was exactly what it took to get one over on Ray Ivy.
Okay.
Gotta give the man props. That's all I can say. Gotta give the man props.
He's a formidable opponent for sure. Serena also says, love TNR, such a great company, some great owners.
Agreed. I've worked for them one time. I met them at Infinity Pro Championship Wrestling, and pretty much since soon as I walked through the doors and they seen, kind of what I had going on, they immediately came up to me and was like, "Hey, this was probably 4 months or so before I went to TNR. They were like, we want to book you. We'll add you on Facebook, whatever. We'll message you. We'll get in contact with you. We'll do what we need to, but we want you at our show." And it was an amazing event, and I'm very humbled with the fans and very happy with how everything turned out inside and outside the ring. So.
All right, awesome. All right, now if you could choose one promotion to work for, and we're not going to talk about the big ones yet, so I'll bring that up after this one, but one promotion that you haven't worked for yet in the independents, who would that promotion be and why?
One of two promotions that I would love.
Before you answer that, we got Ray Ivy's in the chat. Look at that. We had a hell of a match that tore the house down.
Well. That's right. It's one of my favorites of all time. Don't get me wrong. So much that I had to pull out of my little hat to make sure that I went over in that match. But if you watch the video, they did get the best of old Rika Wildlee there at the end. I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is. But thank you, Ray, for being in the chat. Miss you, bud.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Answer the question.
All right.
If you remember it.
There's three companies that I would really, and I can't really choose one over the others, but
that's fine.
OVW, of course.
OVW is a good one.
OVW, of course. Then I would like to try out for FCW, which is Florida Championship Wrestling, which used to be WWE's developmental.
Right.
Yes. And then just to say that I would like to go work for Reality of Wrestling, which is Booker T's company in Houston.
That's a good one.
I really can't pick one over the other just because the opportunities that sit behind those doors opening. Of course, yes, WWP, that's gonna happen. I mean, I got you there, Ray. But but yes, it's one of those things. The doors that can be opened wrestling for one of those three companies is amazing. So just to get my foot into those companies would be top notch.
Now, which one of the big companies would you say would best fit your style if you could choose where to go to?
Well, a year or two ago, I wouldn't have said WWE. Okay. I definitely would not. I would not have said that. But now that it's taking a different turn and they're kind of giving a little more creative freedom back to the talent, I would like to say WWE, but I think my gimmick as it sits now, without being pushed in a direction, forced into a direction, you know what I'm saying? Would be AEW.
AEW. Okay. All right. Not a bad choice. I
mean, either or would be fine, just to say that I've worked for those companies, but I don't know who would allow me to come on their screen and give them what I've got to offer without trying to tweak it in their manner. Some way, some shape.
Maybe NWA?
You know what? I would like to work in NWA just because there's been so many legends that has passed through those doors on their way to bigger and brighter things.
100%. Heard it's a great company to work for, too.
Right.
Okay. All right. Now let's go to the next question. What does Rika like to do for fun? Does he collect? Does he hang out? Does he watch movies?
Let's see. What I like to do for fun, and I know this is going to sound a little cliche, but I like to work on my gear.
Okay.
I am very creative when it comes to seeing how I can turn something into something else. For years before the wrestling, I was into cosplay and things like that, and costume design and other stuff like that. For me and my friends and other folks that have, paid me to help them with costumes, whether it be for Halloween or, cons or whatever the case may be. And once I got into the actual professional wrestling business and started performing myself, I knew that I had to make my own gear, just for the simple fact that no matter what locker room in the country I go into, there will be nothing like it. There will be no one in there that has the same gear as me. Period.
Right. You're definitely right. Nobody's gonna look just like you. 100%. Good job on that.
That's the whole thing, man. Is I've walked into a lot of locker rooms and there's 4 guys that don't know each other. They just happen to get booked at the same show, and they all have the same style gear, whether it be different colors or anything. It's the same tights, same boots, same. And
they don't stand out.
Well, if you wrestle the first match, and then the guy that's right after you is the guy that has the same gear as you, the first match is forgotten. Period. They're not going to remember. The fans aren't going to remember that. I'm an in-depth thinker when it comes to how I present myself as a professional, as a entertainer, an artist, and all of the above. Things like this. Like I said before, I am from your town. Why am I billed from your town? That's because a carnival travels from town to town to town to town. So everywhere I go, I'm from your town. Not only does it make sense that way, but it's an immediate hook. It draws the fans in because now they're going, wait a minute, he's from my town. Do I know that guy? And now they're drew. They're already connected to me before I even get to the ring. They've never even seen me work. But the fact is they're interested now. It's a hook.
Yeah, that's true. I was thinking, oh man, he's from out here? Oh, that's pretty cool.
Thank you. And that's the hook. That's what I'm saying. People don't think that deep into their gimmick. Same way with my finishing move. It's basically a front flip neck breaker, and I call it the big top. Why do I call it the big top? Because I thought it would be cool to hear the announcer say, Rika Wildlee setting up the big top. And that's what you do. You set up a big top. So,
that's good
little
stuff.
things like that.
Yeah, what has been the feedback, you would say, from the fans?
Oh, 100% positive. 100% positive. Don't get me wrong. At first, people were kind of weary of the clown mask, but once they get to know me a little bit, and it gets to a point to where they're looking forward to seeing old Rika back on their platform or in their town or whatever the case may be. Right. And I've been hired to do wrestling. I've been hired to do podcasts. I've been hired to do birthday parties. I've been paid to go out and just hang out with people in gimmick because they just dig it. And, I've said 100 times over that there's a million clown gimmicks out there. There really are. But that's why I didn't try to become Rika the Clown. I wear the clown mask, of course, but I'm the barker of the bazaar. I'm a carnival barker. So if anyone knows anything about the old school sideshow, it is the carnival barker draws you in. He's the one that tells you what's happening at the show. He's giving you the rundown of everything that you're about to witness, or before you even get a chance to see it. So as the hook and everything that I bring to the table, they're already involved and drew in by the time they enter the doors. That's the bottom line for this gimmick.
All right. Now, what was your favorite cosplay?
My favorite cosplay. I'm going to say me and my friends, we made basically our own ninja village from Naruto.
Okay.
Yes. Cool. Yes, called Village of the Smoke. And we pretty much went around and made our own headbands and our own gear and our own, Naruto styled vests and all that kind of stuff. And I think we done it for like 10 years straight, went to the Renaissance fairs and things like that, and just would dress up and do our thing. And yeah.
Okay. That's a good one. Serena says the fans love him. I saw a clip from his TikTok, Rika Wildlee official, and the fans are going bizarre for him.
I, I
Okay.
I gotta say, I didn't think at first it was going to get over as much as it was, because when I first started, I had the mask, I
Hmm.
had the top hat, but I didn't have the lights. I had the jacket, but I didn't have the lights.
Right.
And as I progressed and started building more on my gear and more on my gimmick and what I wanted to see as a fan sitting in the audience, what I would be interested in seeing, I started slowly building the Carnival of Lights and slowly building this gimmick that you see now. And the
Right.
in-depth, the in-depth play on the gimmick itself is Rika is a carnival barker. I've got this whole story on Facebook. I'll have to send it to you guys so you can read it. But it's the backstory to the character Rika Wildlee. Okay.
Hmm.
And basically, what happened is he collects the essence of his fallen opponents. If he wins and he beats an opponent, he doesn't collect the soul like all these, he doesn't do all that. It's not he just collects a bit of an essence to bring back to the carnival, which keeps the lights on. It keeps the lights bright. Now, as I lose,
Uh-huh.
the lights get dimmer and dimmer and dimmer to the point to where I may do an entrance and the lights are barely flickering.
Really?
But that's the whole vibe of
Right.
keeping the lights on at the carnival is if I push myself to win and I do get a victory, the lights stay on bright. It's like paying the bills every match, you know? And as I lose, they get dimmer and dimmer and dimmer to the point to where maybe one day they'll just be completely out.
Gone.
And is
Wow.
that the point of a heel turn? I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. But it's a possibility.
But it's a possibility. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's talk about places you want to wrestle you haven't wrestled before. What places do
Huh.
you want to go to?
Well, I would love, just in general, which I don't know a whole lot of companies in the area, but I would love to go overseas. I would love to go wrestle overseas, whether it be London or the UK or England in general, anywhere over
Uh-huh.
there, Japan maybe. I would like to go over there, but inside the states, I would like to go to like California, maybe even
Okay.
New York.
New
You
York.
know, there's a lot of companies around that area that are always looking for the next eye-catching gimmick. You know what I'm saying? So,
It's true. I know a couple. I'll go into them when I tell you where I'll be in the next couple of weeks.
oh, there you go.
But for you, you
This is
have.
the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
Hey, that's it, brother. That's it. This weekend coming up, opening a new. Matter of fact, the next 2 weekends, I'm opening up 2 new states that I haven't worked before: Tennessee and Georgia. So
Wow.
it's gonna be awesome. Gonna be awesome.
Good stuff. There you go. Hits Different. It is a free event Saturday, June 1st. Event begins at 1 o'clock, but bell time is at 3 p.m. right there in Memphis, Tennessee, as Rika Wildlee will be there, as well as our old pal Dorian Vane and many,
That's
many
right.
more.
And Draven Lee right there with the red half face, red and
Oh,
black
that's
face.
Draven Lee?
Yeah,
Oh, I
that's
didn't know.
Draven Lee.
Okay. Who's the guy in the background?
I really don't know.
All right. He looks happy to be there, though.
Right. As I will be.
Good stuff. All right. Let's end it with goals you have set yourself for the rest of 2024.
To wrestle in front of at least 500 people, to take my first championship on to new heights, no matter what company it's with, to leave 2024 with gold around my waist. That is a goal that I set for myself at the first of this year, and I'm guaranteeing it's going to happen in one way, shape, or form. Period.
All right. Now, Christy says she may not like clowns, but she's rooting for you against Dorian Graves.
I don't know who I'm going against in Memphis,
Yikes.
but either way, I'm looking forward to the adventure. I'm looking forward to the time in a new state. And I've been to Memphis before, but never to perform. So maybe the crowd will dig me over there. Maybe they won't. But either way it goes, I always do my best to show up and show out each and every time.
All right. Rika Wildlee, everyone. Let everybody know where they can follow you, Rika, on all your social platforms and where they can get your merchandise.
Oh, yes, here we are. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, you name it, I got it. And you can follow Rika Wildlee. The name is Rikawildlee. Literally, I made sure of this. I am the only Rika Wildlee out there. Period. You can Google me and I'm the first thing that pops up. So if you put that name in there and you put whatever social media behind it, I guarantee I'll pop up. Some's Rika Wildlee official, some's just Rika Wildlee, but either way it goes, type the name and you can find me. As far as merch goes, prowrestlingtees.com/official Rika Wildlee. And I just uploaded a brand new shirt today. I think I've got like 17 or 18 different designs on there, one to suit any fancy. And I promise you this, rocking some bizarre wear is going to make the highlight of your day.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. You can also check out Rika this Saturday, June 1st at Hits Different. Make sure you go to Committed to Wrestling to get your event over there. All right. As for me, tomorrow, later on tonight, I have the Cheese coming on. Cheese coming to hang out. That's at 9 o'clock tonight. But this Saturday, I will be at Seaside Showdown for Titan Championship Wrestling. It is on the boardwalk at Beachcomber Bar and Grill, right on the boardwalk in Seaside Heights. As you can see, all of Titan talent will be there, and it's sure to be a very special event in the Jersey Shore. And then I'm going to travel up New Jersey to come back to New York and Queens, where I will be at Wrestling Is Now's Winner Circle, for I am the backstage interviewer for that event. So make sure you go to Wrestling Is Now to get your tickets and come down. And if you're at Titan in Jersey, you can also follow me to Queens and come to Wrestling Is Now, and make sure you watch that, as they have a very special Rumble that will be taking place that
Looks like
night.
you're pretty booked up there, sir.
I am. After that, I will be at Victory Pro Wrestling on Saturday, June 8th, where you can get your tickets right now, where Gabby Ortiz from Monster Factory fame makes her return as she tackles the current champ, Kai McKenna, and many, many more Victory Pro Wrestling stars. So get your tickets for that. And I could go on to more, but I don't want to. I'll go for one more. NYWC presents SWA's Wrestle Hell, coming up on June 14th on a Friday. Make sure you get your tickets for that event as well. And out of those 4 events, Joey Conway will be at every single one of them. Yikes.
Well,
A lot of stuff happening. And at the end of the night, sorry, not the end of the night, the end of June, this is right up your alley, Rika. The first ever Elimination Chamber, the Chamber of Horrors, happens at Remarkable Wrestling on Saturday, June 29th. Make sure you get your tickets for that event, as Gabe Sky will be there. Oh, that's going to be a one-of-a-kind event in wrestling, not just in New York, in wrestling. First independent chamber on the island. It's going to be crazy. Woo! Up now is the first episode of Papa Dank Vlogs, where I'm seen hanging out with Cowboy Bob Orton right there, talking to me up on my YouTube channel from SICW. We were there for FanFest 2. And Bill Apter, look at him. He is attacking me for my championship. Look at that.
What?
The heck?
I mean, what you gonna do?
Wait, that's right. What you gonna do? Right, exactly. And then, of course, coming soon is episode 2, The Rise of the Dank. As you see, something has happened to my table. The hell? You're gonna have to stay tuned and check out the vlogs to see what is going on. Rika reminds me of my nickname, Ripple. Yikes. All right. There's a lot going on for both of us, Rika. But
Hey, I've got my next 7 or 8 weekends filled up myself, so I'm gonna be checking out all those events you just posted there, sir. I'm gonna
yeah,
be
man.
paying attention.
Serena will send you all the information for those promotions.
And I appreciate that.
All right, everybody else, have a good night. Rika, just hold on for 1 minute. I'll see everybody at 9 o'clock.